In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about why being sober is the best thing you can do for your business, your personal life, your health, and so much more. So let's dive into it. Now, I've been alcohol-free for 5 years. Did I have a problem with alcohol before? I would say so, yes. I would say it was causing me more problems every single day. Was I waking up and thinking, where's the next hit coming from? Or scrambling for empty cans of beer for a dreg? No, I wasn't. However, when I would go out on a weekend, I'd get absolutely shit-faced. I'd make terrible decisions that weren't aligned with where I wanted to go. I wanted clarity. I wanted to have less anxiety. I wanted to become more productive, not feel as bloated. And it's the exact paradox of that, isn't it, when you drink alcohol? But it causes an enormous amount of stress, not only in the day-to-day behavioral things that we do, but on the body as well. I'm not going to go into all the science behind it. What I'm going to talk to you about today is the benefits of removing it. Now, I don't give a shit if you drink alcohol. It makes no difference to my life. However, I have removed it. Since removing it, I've lost around 30 kilograms of fat. I'm in a healthier relationship than I ever was before. I've set up a multi-six-figure business off the back of it. I'm a lot less anxious, a lot less stressed. I sleep better. I've worked with professional athletes. I've worked with CEOs of large organizations. We've coached Team GB. We've done all sorts. But this isn't about me. This is about understanding where you could go from to where you are now, really, to where you want to go if you do take the break. So the main benefits are, well, I'm going to go through about 5 or 6. Clarity of thought. Now, when you have brain fog, when you are hanging out of your ass, it feels like someone's sat on your head. You've got no clarity. You don't even know what you did the night before. You're really anxious. You're frantically checking your phone, hoping that you've not texted an ex-girlfriend or you've not texted your boss something ridiculous. You have that beer fear, anxiety, whatever you want to label it as. When you do go alcohol-free, though, it's really difficult to explain this, but it's literally like I was once blind and now I can see. It's bizarre. I'm sure that most of you have abstained from alcohol for a week or two and you feel quite good. Imagine that feeling over 6 months. Imagine that over a few years. It's absolutely absurd. Now, when you are in business, or if you're a CEO, founder, whatever you want to call yourself, this gives you a competitive edge. Because if you've got other people in your space that are going out and getting pissed and you're not doing that, straight away, you're going to be feeling a lot more productive, a lot more focused. You're going to have a lot more energy and you won't make as many rash decisions. And that goes on to my next point, emotional stability. We're quite erratic by nature, humans. It's typically mirrored from our parents, but also the things we see on TV, who we hang around with every single day, what content we consume. But emotional regulation is imperative when you want to perform at the highest level, because you won't be as impulsive. You won't be signing up to courses that had a really good webinar attached to it just because. You won't be going with that business coach you've done no research around because they were good looking and they had a nice fancy car, right? We've all done it, something stupid like that. So regulating your emotions is essential. You might have a staff member that's underperforming, but when you are sober, you're not going to be as aggressive. You're not going to be as irritable. You're a lot more central. You're a lot more level-headed. And a piece of advice that I got once was you need to function like a surgeon. Now, surgeons, they're very compassionate, and by and large, they're pretty kind. They're intelligent. They're focused, but no matter what happens, they don't waver. They don't get pulled pillar to post by their emotions. Even when the family is begging them to tell them good news, they still have to deliver the bad news. And they do it from this position here, which is neutral, as opposed to being really erratic, not focused, and putting the fear of doubt into the minds of the families. You want to feel secure with the surgeon that you've got. It's no different when you're a business owner. If you've got a client or a prospect reaching out to you, they need to know they're in capable hands if they're going to part with their money. And if you're hungover or anxiety or eating junk food, which spikes your blood sugar, and then you're absolutely exhausted in the afternoon, how do you feel you're going to show up for your team, but also for yourself? Now, time advantage. Some people, when they come to us, think this is a bad thing. Oh, I've got so much time back. And they say it with that tone. I'm like, great. You can get more money, but you can't get more time. Time is the most valuable commodity that we have. So it's imperative that you maximize this as much as you can. Now, even if you are drinking only 1 to 2 beers a week, you're going to feel like shit the next day. I know you are. It's going to impact your sleep. And if you have poor sleep, everything else goes to shit, because sleep is by far the most important health metric. You can go a day without water. Yes, you'll have a bit of a headache and feel a bit irritable. You can go a day without food and your stomach might be churning. You can go a day without exercise. Nothing really happens. Try go a day without sleep. So if you're trying to operate at your optimal level of shocking sleep because you've had 1 or 2 beers, ask yourself, what damage is this doing to my health, but what damage is it also doing to my business? Because can you honestly afford, if you're only having 1 to 2 beers a week, let's say, on a Saturday night, can you honestly afford to have 52 days a year where you're not performing at your best? I'm not so sure. But with that time that you get back when you wake up at 7 o'clock on a weekend, rather than waking up at 10 or 11, you've got the washing done. You may have already taken the kids to football practice or dance school or whatever. And then you can get the washing done, you can clean up, you can get the house in order, you can get all your admin prepped for the week ahead. Amazing. You simply don't have that time when you're hungover. Now, these two next ones are massive. The discipline and identity shift. I see so many people hanging on to an old identity that simply does not serve them anymore. They stay stuck in the nickname they were given, the character that they created over time, right? So some people would call me Smithy boy, smudger, right? Cringe. But at the time, that was just normal. And I put on a mask for, I would say, I'm 37 now, probably 32, 33 years of my life. Only recently, with all the deep inner work that I've done on myself, have I realized I don't need to please other people at the expense of myself. I don't need to have a lack of boundaries. I don't need to allow other people to dictate my worth. And that's what I did for so long. And I was a pathological people pleaser. This is exactly why I kept drinking. This is exactly why I piled weight on. This is exactly why I pushed people away that loved me, because I didn't feel worthy of happiness. And the discipline will come when the identity shift kicks in. The identity shift can only kick in once you gain clarity on exactly where you want to go. The clarity comes from getting out of your fucking head and writing it down. Who am I becoming? Fantastic question. Where do I want to go? What goals do I want to achieve? What's my vision for life? All pretty deep questions. But without that clarity, you're just waking up like it's an accident. You'd be shocked at how many people just wake up and just crack on day to day with no plan. You're the architect of your day. You're not the bricklayer. You don't have somebody telling you what to do, where to stand, and how long you have to work. You can turn up with the plan, with the strategy, and then you can take action. But as long as your identity is wrapped up in what you've done before and who you were before, nothing's going to change. But the discipline, as I said already, can only come into play once you know what you're aiming at. If you just keep saying, oh, I'm going to go to the gym 3 or 4 times a week, pick one. Is it 3 or is it 4? It's 4. Great. What's the goal? Don't know. So the goal is purely to just turn up at the gym 4 times a week, is it? Well, I think I'll maybe do some upper body. What kind of upper body? How many reps? How much weight do you want to add on? Oh, I don't know. Again, huge problem. Be very, very specific. Most people are more specific with how they eat their fucking steak than what their goals are for life. The last point, authentic confidence. It still amazes me how many people think that alcohol makes you confident. I worked in hospitality for 15 years. I'm telling you, it does not make you more confident. It makes you louder. There's a very big difference. And I don't associate confidence to noise. I actually think the opposite. I think the more somebody can stay quiet and measured and focused, that says to me they're more confident because they don't have anything to prove. When I think of some of the best footballers of all time, they're more confident than they are arrogant or trying to put a mask on, right? Lionel Messi had a fantastic confidence about his ability, but he never walked around saying, I'm the big I am, because he didn't need to. And when you have alcohol within inside you, regardless of how you think you are as a drunk, trust me, you're worse. I'd see perfectly pleasant people turn into something different once they were consuming alcohol. Because it's a drug, it affects your neurochemistry. Of course, it's going to impact things. But when you can have authentic confidence, you know you're winning, right? That will naturally lead into your business, into your relationships, into how you show up for your friends and your family, how you show up for yourself. That level of confidence to say, I know who I am. I don't need to please. I don't need to dance to the tune of everybody else. I'm going to do what's right for me. And this is why. So we can't recommend highly enough taking a 60 to 90 day break from alcohol. This is what we specialize in. I can help you do this. You don't have to just be a CEO or a founder. This is just my sort of specialist area. If you are a director, if you are a high performer and you want to stop drinking alcohol to ensure that you can live in alignment with who you're becoming, that's exactly what we specialize in at A-Game. So you can just drop us a message or email us at hello@agameconsultancy.com for more information. But until next time, I'll see you then.